Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Keeping Up with Conspicuous. I am joined by the amazing Chris Huntingford today, and we are going to be talking all things about low code. We're going to be talking about Copilot, AI, everything that is up and coming basically in the industry at the moment. I know a fair few people have been quite excited to have you on today, so welcome, Chris.
Thank you for having me, Lucy. It's really good to be here. Yeah, I I was with. I'm gonna give him a plug right now because he's literally gonna cry for it. So I was with my friend James Connolly last night, and he was being super fanboy, and I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. I'm excited. So thank you for having me, James. What's up? I know you're listening. There we go. There's the plug straight in the front.
We've done the plug. There we
Yeah,
go. Well,
boom.
I know he'll probably be in the comments later, but
Yeah,
yeah, I had quite a few people reach out asking for the link actually. So
oh, for real.
hot name in the industry at the moment, which is great. But just for those that may not know you, I don't think a lot of people won't know you, but for those that don't, just if you could give us a brief background about you and what it is you currently do, etc.
Yeah. So obviously my name's Chris. There we go. I'm a nerd. I have a bit of a weird take on technology, but at the moment I'm the director of digital innovation at ANS. So we're a North-based firm, and we do some really good stuff in the UK. We've just won UK Services Partner of the Year, which is
Oh wow.
really exciting. Yeah, really exciting. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Previous to that, I was Evernote Accenture, and yeah, before then Microsoft. And I always say, how do you know when somebody used to work at Microsoft? Because we will take the opportunity to tell you. And
That
yeah,
you worked at
before
Microsoft.
that's it. And then I've basically done pre-sales, innovation, all that type of thing for years and years. Also, I'm South African, and I'm not sorry about the rugby.
I love that. There we go. There we go.
Yeah,
We have literally prior to going live, we've just had a long old conversation about rugby, which is quite nice. So absolutely well deserved win there, must admit. Hard one,
thank you.
well
Yeah, it was,
deserved.
can I tell you, I've literally never been so panicked in my life,
I
ever.
can imagine.
Right? I don't want to relive that, but it's cool. Like I'm happy with the win.
Absolutely. Still came out on top. But back to what it is you do. So obviously you're a director of innovation. So what does that entail for you day to day?
Oh, it's literally the coolest job ever, right?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty lucky. The place I work at, they're very good with like letting me kind of explore. So it's not quite R&D. It's a little bit more deep than that, I would say. But they let me explore new products, new things coming out. And then what I do, my role is to take cutting edge stuff, okay, like when Copilot came out, cutting edge stuff and making it real for organizations, but also
Yeah.
bringing it into our day-to-day delivery, right? So as an example, Copilot came out. Actually, it's close to a year ago, quite honestly. I mean, it was made GA earlier in the year, but
Yeah.
I got fingers on the keyboards quite early. And it was interesting because I was a little bit freaked out about what it could do, and I had to change my learning and stuff. So what I do is I act as the barrier. I absorb all of the crazy ass stuff that gets released from Microsoft, and then I try and trickle release it back into the org. When I say
Yeah.
trickle release, some people are like, dude, you release too quickly, but that's just how I work, right? So I really want to make sure that I articulate the value of what Microsoft are doing to the companies I work with.
Absolutely. And I'm sure there is a lot that's going on at the moment. You're
Loads.
probably rushed off your feet with all the new things that have come in. But
Yeah, yeah.
obviously, we know AI is here. We know Copilot and everything is becoming such a big thing. But there's been some certain things this year that have sort of come out of the woodworks at the moment of things that are being put in place. So for you, what have you found is going to be the biggest influence on this, maybe this year or in the near future?
So I think this year's been the planning year. Okay, so AI is still very new to people. To people, when I say to people, like to the wider audience,
Yeah.
artificial intelligence has been around for a long time. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. Like AI has been around since, I mean, ages and ages. I mean, look at the Turing test. Okay,
Yeah.
um, but what's interesting is that because it's been commercialized and productized, the media have made it like really real, well, made it in our faces a bit more, right? So we're all panicking. Like a lot of people are going, "Oh no, it's going to take my job," or I mean, people don't know the difference between something generated by AI and something not. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think what the biggest thing is happening this year is it's being demystified. It's being made to be normal. That's what I think. Okay. I don't think
Yeah.
okay, AI will never be normal, but I think it's being made more normal. So this year's the planning year. This year is the customers, get your data sorted out. Partners, get your data sorted out. Admit the fact that you've got data sprawl everywhere. Use this year to figure it out. Okay. I
Yeah.
think next year is the doing year. Next year is the year of like much wider adoption. So you'll start seeing tools like Copilot being more widely adopted across organizations because people are no longer afraid about having terrible data. And I
Yeah.
think year three will be high extensibility, right? Like, oh, now we've adopted, we're going to be extending way faster. So agentification, these like personalized LLMs, large language models. That's what I think. It will likely happen faster, but if I break
Yeah.
it down into 3 years, that's what we're looking at. And if anyone is listening to this, I categorically need to tell you, sort your data out, right? Because this is not going to be something that's a fad. It is not going to just disappear. It's going to become deeply ingrained and embedded in our lives. We just need to start dealing with it.
Absolutely. I think that's a really important point, actually, because I don't think everyone talks about AI, but no one actually talks about how you can get on top of it. And actually, when it comes to it
Yeah.
being adopted into practice, how you can use it to its main benefits, etc. So
Mm.
I think that's a very key point to touch on that no one else has at the moment. So definitely take away that from the podcast if you take away nothing else, but there will be lots more to come. Obviously, as you said, people don't, they know about it now this year, and everyone's become a bit more aware of it. I mean, I put a LinkedIn post up the other day, and I was having a conversation with my dad, who's a scaffolder,
Yeah,
and
that's
is
cool.
completely out of the tech industry. But
Mm.
his immediate response was, "Oh, AI, all these bad things are going to happen, take jobs. They're doing all these videos, and they're faking to be people, or they're faking voice messages." And it's funny because obviously, for someone who may not be in the tech industry, and they haven't been educated on where it is
Yeah.
going to go, they've heard the news publicize all this stuff, and
Mhm.
they've only taken the negatives. Whereas it takes people like yourself who are highly educated on it, and knowing where it's going to go, to sort of spread the goodness about it, because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's so mixed.
It is, right? And I think, again, media sensationalize things. Like, that's their goal. So what they will do is, the minute you can attach a price tag to something, what are they going to do? They're going to sensationalize it, right? I mean, no one was freaking out about AI when you were using PowerPoint Designer, okay? But it was in there. AI was in there. We were using
Yeah.
GPT V1 or something in PowerPoint. I can't remember which one. But like, nobody went and yelled on the media going, "Oh my gosh, Copilot Designer, this is going to wreck our existences." And when
Yeah.
people were on Tinder doing their matching algorithm, nobody was like, "Oh no, AI is going to take our jobs." It's just part of it. Now, people are like, "Oh no, AI is going to take all our jobs because of like one thing that's happened with it." Okay.
Yeah.
And that's not the case, right? I think that what people need to realize is this is going to be a bit like spell check. Okay. Spell check,
Right.
when you were using Microsoft Word, you would write something, and I'm terrible at spelling. So I would write something, then Microsoft Word all of a sudden popped up with these horrible red underlines, and it made me feel terrible. And
All
I'm
the
like,
time.
"Oh no, I'm emotionally guilted through Microsoft Word because it's telling me I'm a crappy speller." And then after a while, I'm like, "Actually, this works." And then all of a sudden, this horrible spell check thing, which made me feel terribly guilty, started popping up in Teams and everywhere else. And I'm like, "Why are you here?" But it wasn't extremely invasive. It was actually helping me, okay? But it
Yeah.
didn't take somebody's job. Didn't take like maybe editorial people a little bit, but like, it didn't take their job. It just gave them better tools to edit documents, and we do a lot of that ourselves. So spell check
Yeah.
was here to stay. Predictive text. So when you were awake, when I don't know, people would go out on a night out and then type in a certain word, and it got pre-filtered to the word duck. And what would happen is that you're like, "Oh, predictive text, right? Wow, this is the worst thing in the world." But actually, it just happened to you. AI is happening with
Yeah.
us right now. Okay.
Yeah.
But eventually it will happen to us. And I think it's going to be a bit like those things like predictive text and spell check, where it's deeply ingrained in the products we use. We just naturally use them every day. But trust the
Yeah.
media to sensationalize it. That's exactly what they're going to do. So, yeah, if
Absolutely.
you could attach money to spell check like Grammarly did, there we go. They did. They made a product. Somebody will do it with AI as well.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the key things. I don't think people are well educated about the benefits
Nope.
of it now. And as you said, it's about enhancing your work or your learning or whatever it may be. It's a tool to help. And it's just finding that way of actually making it help instead of
Yeah.
just panicking at the sheer thought of it. So
Yeah. It's wild though, because So my friend Donna, she did a session at European Power Platform Conference, and she took data from the Work Trend Index, which then I subsequently used in a session at work, right? And the people's jobs who are at risk, right? Like, okay, fine, writing content. If that's your job, if like all you do every day is just write stuff in Microsoft Word, you might be a little bit at risk. But we've had the internet for years, and people have been copy pasting for decades. Okay,
Yeah.
um, developers, same sort of thing, right? It's just going to aid their job. You actually going to start finding that people like graphic design companies and that will just expect you to know AI. Like so you guys do a lot of recruitment, right? When you
Yeah.
start speaking to people, you don't say, okay, you need to know Microsoft Word. You just kind of assume they know Word.
Yeah.
Okay, or you need to learn how to use a mouse. You just kind of assume that people are computer literate. In the next kind of 2 years, we're just going to start assuming that people are AI literate. And the jobs that are graphic designers, you need to know tools like Mistral, okay? And you need to know Designer, but you use AI to aid your job. It's not going to take your job. It will build on your role and take away those horrible manual things that you have to do all the time. That's what we have to learn. And that's really where we're going with this.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, that's another key point though, really, isn't it? Like it is going to start to become a requirement.
Yeah.
Excuse me. It is going to start to become a requirement where you will need to know about it and actually how to use it. So if you don't get on top of it now and start learning, like for us, as you said, we do recruitment,
Mm.
but we've decided that now is the time we're going to have to sit down weekly and discuss new things or that we've discovered about AI, or if we found something cool, because if we don't understand it, we're going to have no hope with our clients who are going to want people who are AI literate. So
Yeah.
it is important.
Well, here's something for you to think about. Okay. And this is where it's going to get a little scary. So in the UK, there are a lot of recruitment companies. I'm going to use recruitment as the example here because actually in the Work Trend Index, it comes up as one of the top industries that needs to adopt artificial intelligence. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the thing. Let's say Lucy and let's pick, I don't know, Gary, right? Random person. And you're both recruiters. You
Yep.
get 1,000 CVs and Gary gets 1,000 CVs. You use artificial intelligence to reason over the 1,000 CVs with a really good prompt, okay, and really good criteria. And then of the 1,000 CVs, you get 10 shortlisted, and those 10 people land 10 roles. Gary spends morning and night reading over every CV, even passing it through some of the tools that are out there. But again, he spends more time reasoning over the data. You're landing candidates like this. Gary is not. You have AI as a tool, Gary doesn't. That's what you call digital inequity. Okay.
Yeah.
You will start seeing lawsuits come up about this soon, where people are given tools to do their jobs a lot better and other people are not. Okay. So when organizations start adopting AI, you have to think about how you release it across the landscape. Also, when companies start adopting it as a whole, their strategy should be looking at other organizations saying, what are they doing? Are they adopting or not adopting? And the people that adopt it will be far better at doing their jobs and be far more effective than the people that don't. So you'll have market displacement. That's where
Yeah.
it's going to get really real. And that will happen. That will happen in the next few years.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
No, I mean, when you put it like that, it is like it hits home because you're like, okay,
Yep.
actually, yeah, you got to get on top of it. But we'll
This
we'll,
is
we'll
not
do
this
that.
is not this is not an this is not an if. This is a when. Right?
Yeah.
Like, and when people realize that they have to adopt it, it could be too late for them. And that means you'll be in competition with organizations that are absolutely smashing you with the technology that they're using.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing that you need to think about is this: the cultural shift on artificial intelligence now has completely changed. Like before, that cultural shift wouldn't come out of a technologist's hands; it would come out of like a people manager or something. But now it's technologists that are going, you have to culturally change the way you work. That is freaky. We've become digital psychologists. It's really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool when you put it like that. It's so interesting because I have conversations with people who are obviously aware of AI, but obviously your job is to find out about all these new innovations, etc. So you're in like the heart of it, and
Yeah.
it's so interesting to hear your outlook on it, I must admit.
Mhm.
But obviously, where do you see? Is there any sort of things that are upcoming with Copilot that we should be aware about?
Yes. So if you look at the pillars that Microsoft released, so they released three pillars. So it's the adopt pillar, the extend pillar, and the build pillar. Okay. So when we talk about Copilot, I'm going to refer to Microsoft 365 Copilot. That's the one embedded inside the Microsoft toolset. So PowerPoint, Excel, and then your kind of Teams Copilot as well. That's the primary, right? That's the one that we want to get people using, because that looks at the Microsoft graph. It can do contextual information. It knows kind of who Lucy is to an extent. Obviously, I can't keep track of everything, but it knows to an extent, right? What I think is going to happen, and is important, is obviously as Microsoft build into these products more intelligence. And remember, I believe this is like a launch phase. This is them only getting started, right? I don't even think that they've released half of what they're planning. Okay. And what I think will happen is in the next kind of couple of years, this agentification concept, what it does, it's a custom type of Copilot that uses the Open API, the Open AI Assistance API, and it keeps context of who you are and what you're doing. And then through an orchestration layer, it then uses automation and things and a conversational UI to talk to you. So think about a travel booking website. So before you'd go on the website, you would book. Now you physically talk to it and you say, I'd like a room here. I'd like to do X. I'd like to do Y. Give me an agenda for A, B, and C. And then it remembers who you are. Copilot doesn't remember who you are in general. But with the Assistance API, you can actually drive that behavior. So for me, the turning points in the market is when people start actually using agents and understanding what they do. And the
Yeah.
second thing is what I call, well, what Microsoft are calling SLMs, small language models. So if you think about like a Lucy flavored language model, like what would that mean? So we know that you do a lot with rugby teams. You are awesome at recruitment. You run podcasts. You do all these things, right? And your small language model then has like your profile effectively, and it responds the
Okay.
way you do. Okay, and that's going to be really interesting as well to see how that kind of gets baked into our daily lives. So those are the two things: agentification and SLM, small language models. That's what I think is going to be
Interesting.
front and center. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I haven't heard about like SLMs before, etc.
Mm.
So that's something new to me as well. So that's yeah, that's really interesting. Hmm. Okay. Well, I
Yeah.
have to keep an eye out for that for sure. Um, now I know one thing we also sort of wanted to touch upon within this chat was more about how the area of development has also changed and become a bit
Yeah.
more innovative because we have got the future of low code coming in. And if I have chats with loads of people nowadays, it's constantly about low code. And I actually had a guest on, oh gosh, a few weeks ago now, maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. And he actually gave me a completely different mindset to low code coming as a developer and sort of was showing his side of it,
Mm.
and it wasn't the usual benefits that we would discuss about it. So it was quite, yeah, it was interesting because it was different to the usual view.
I
But you
like it.
know, if for people that don't know much about low code, with you who's been amongst it all, where do you see it going? What is it? And all of the ins and outs.
Okay. So I hope that there are a bunch of low code people listening to this, because you all need to ask your bosses for a raise right now. And I'll tell you why.
Okay,
So
bold.
yeah, yeah. So if you look at what low code is, right? I mean, you've got and Power Platform in particular, because I'm a Microsoft fan, like hugely. I mean, I respect people like Mendix and OutSystems and that, but I just think Microsoft are awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
So Power Platform people, when you start looking at what the tool set does, it naturally extends pretty much all Microsoft products. So it extends Dynamics. You can use it on top of tools like SharePoint, which is not a database, by the way, for structured data. There we go. It's a good document storage facility, but no, I wouldn't use SharePoint list as a structured data source. Anyway, that's a cheeky plug. Somebody's going to shout at me. That being said, okay, I think that what low code does is it allows extension of tools, but also it allows you to build custom tools really quickly. Okay. Now, I personally think the era of the app is ending. Okay. So that
Okay.
horrible thing that you have on your phone, that clicky, clicky, push, push thing, where everyone's like, okay, I'm going to have an app for this. I believe that conversational user experiences will change that. All right. I think that
Right.
tools like the artist formerly known as Power Virtual Agent, now Copilot Studio, will replace the application to an extent. My evidence of this: go and research a tool called Project Sophia. Okay, it's a born in AI business application, and it's a prompt-driven biz app, right?
Oh,
So think about how you
okay.
use Dynamics. Yep. So
Yep.
it is a born in AI tool, right? And what I've started to see is that people are actually going, you know what? Instead of the app, how do I use a conversational user experience to engage data? Right. That's the first thing. The second thing is the approved tool to extend Microsoft 365 Copilot. is Power Platform. So you build
Yeah.
plugins and you build custom copilots in Power Platform. Oh, wow. So all of a sudden, my Power Platform team just became my AI extensibility team. That's wild. Go
Yeah.
and look at what people like OpenAI are offering as salaries for people that understand like algorithmic stuff. It's wild. So
Really?
people that know Power Platform, congratulations. You are now AI extensibility people. You should put that on your CV, go and put it on LinkedIn, go and yell at everyone you can find. But you are going to officially be the first people to be building out these extensible tools for M365 Copilot.
Interesting. Very interesting, actually, because it's weird being amongst the market's been a bit odd this year in terms of the Microsoft industry in different departments, but
Mm.
the consistent type of clients and area I was talking to that has been in a positive the whole year has been
Mhm.
Power Platform.
Of course, yeah,
The
and
the the
and
whole
it's
time.
it will be more so.
Yeah,
And organizations, if you are listening to this, both partners and customers, hold on to your Power Platform people, okay?
yeah.
Because if you know how to adopt Power Platform, you will have a really, really, really awesome opportunity to adopt Copilot, especially M365 Copilot, and that will
Yeah.
give you a really good baseline, all right? Because Power Platform people know how to connect to data.
Absolutely. And we're
Yeah.
already seeing that shift actually. We have a lot of both partners, end users as well. You'll see, oh, obviously I'm only speaking from the dynamics of Microsoft industry, but you'll
Yeah.
see now it will be we need a functional consultant, which is within Business Central with Power Platform experience,
You
or
have to.
can they
Yeah.
have a certification within Power Platform? So
Hmm.
I've given the message out quite a lot, but I've always said to my network, if you're a bit stagnant in what you're doing at the moment and you want a bit of direction, or you want to learn something new, Power Platform, get
Hmm.
your certifications, start learning it, because it is going to be the future of it, really, isn't it?
Yeah. The other thing you'll see is that when you really start diving into this, okay, the the tools that Microsoft use for agentification, okay, so when you're building out these agents, the tools that are used are Power Virtual Agents and Power Automate. That is pretty crazy, right? So that is one of the things that I've really, really found amazing is that that's the tool that they're investing in. Oh no, I think we've lost Lucy. Right. So those of you that are listening, a couple of other things that I want to bring up, which are pretty important, is the fact that when you're establishing your low code practice, it is going to be important to get people infused with AI. So really, really start getting them to climb onto tools like, Copilot Studio. If I had to pick, I would 1,000% start thinking about using Copilot Studio over tools like Canvas app. 100%. Oh, there we go. You're back.
That is the first time that's happened. It just booted me out of everything and froze. I'm sorry,
Don't worry.
guys. Technical difficulties. Anyway,
Yeah,
where are we at, Chris?
cool. No, I was just telling people if I were to pick a tool right now, I would start picking up Copilot Studio.
Fab. Okay,
Cool.
perfect. Yeah, I don't no idea what's happened there. That never happened. So here we go. But thanks for holding the fort.
Cool. No, it's
Um,
fine. Do we have any
but yeah,
comments that we can pick up on, right? So let's have a look.
absolutely. Here we go.
I like
Mine
I
is
like
actually
I actually like this comment from my pal David. A former CTO of a previous company said AI will not take your job, the person making best use of it will. I actually think that's really interesting, right? Because it can be deemed as a little bit of a naysayer thing, but actually, I feel like when you go for interviews and when you start thinking about using artificial intelligence, if you can evidence the fact that you can use it really well, I think it'll put you in a really great position in any role that you're going for. But yeah, definitely something that I would say, I don't know if I'd phrase it like that, but it's a good point, right? Like it's the same as saying, hey, I know Microsoft Word and that person doesn't. And if I'm going into a role that requires me to write stuff, absolutely, that's going to be way more easier for a really great thing for me to have.
absolutely. I can't see any of the comments since my computer's crashed.
I know.
So I'm gonna have to leave this to you.
Oh, it's cool. Don't worry. I'm snooping around on LinkedIn. Also, yeah. David also just said Power Platform be an so important skill to have. If you have good ones, do everything to keep them. I totally agree. I could not agree with you more. It's amazing to see how many organizations are like, okay, we'll just find a Power Platform consultants and then let them go. But actually, no, that's not the case. Um, Also, James has said we adapt in our lives every day. Why can't we do that with technology?
Very good point, actually. Very good
That's
point.
that's really on the money. That's really on the money. And then can this interview be officially referred to when somebody asks for a raise, asking for a friend? Dude, do it. Like the thing is, my vibe is absolutely why not? Use the link. I think that this is a tool, right? Like we have to get the message out there that people that are technical and understand how to use technology and artificial intelligence are extremely important right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's so important. And I think going back to James's comment about the whole, we adapt in our everyday lives. Why can't we with tech? I think it loops back round to the whole media blow up and the influence that has. Like, if they gave a positive message out, you wouldn't even dare to sort of even hesitate to get on board with everything, but it has such a big influence. It's like anything. It's like we do adapt, but if the media says something bad about something, like you get everything nowadays where it says, oh, if you eat apples, it's going to give you this disease in the near future. You're then going to
yeah.
be like, oh my God, not eating an apple. I think it is so powerful. But as you said, we need to adapt. And that's one of the biggest things people need nowadays is
Mm.
that ability to be adaptable.
Yeah, there's an interesting comment that's come in, and thank you for that. So the comment is, how do you set yourself apart from others who are doing the same thing since it's pretty easy to learn? I disagree. I do not think it's easy to learn. OpenAI wouldn't be offering the salaries they do if it was easy to learn. Okay. So what I would say is number one, start out by learning low code. That's the first and best thing you can do. Okay. And once you've started learning low code, the most important thing is that you will start picking up on things like using agentification tools, how to keep context, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing I will say, and I've said this to every single person I talk to about AI, get more technical. That is how you're going to set yourself apart. The world now is not going to be just around low code and doing things simply. Writing code is going to be extremely important, right? Get more technical, learn how to use more technical tools. You want to set yourself apart from everyone? Go and learn more Copilots, go and learn more AI tools. Get deep, go and learn Bard, go and learn Mistral, go and experience those, right? Because the more AI tools you can understand and the more deeply technical you can go, especially for things like machine learning, that right there. Another thing, data science. Did you know in the work trend index, data scientists are the most required role right now from a technical person, the most required
Wow.
role in the tech sphere. Yeah, and by a long shot, not even by a short shot. Go and learn data science. Go and learn how to build structured data structures. Go and learn data security. Go and learn purview, right? Governance. That's how you set yourself aside.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, this is a really good discussion because I think so many people do have questions about it and they people do want to learn, and I think these comments that are coming in are really, really good. Obviously, I
Yeah,
know another person's just fully agreed with you, Azure AI Studio, understand Python, understand neural networks, etc. Like it is really, really important. So
yeah.
absolutely. I don't know, if anyone else has any other comments, keep them coming because it is good. We're here to answer them. Well, Chris is. I'm here to assist. Um, but yeah, obviously things are changing. You've given quite a few great things to people to be able to take away from this podcast. Now, I know Andy Wingo's just commented
Ah, good
saying,
old Andy.
I love Andy. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He said, "Will the introduction of AI Copilot, can't talk, Copilots in Power Platform shift more app making into this customer side teams? Do you think?"
Yes, abso-freaking-lutely. I think that the role of the partner will change. I don't think partners should be making apps. Legit. I'm just like,
Really?
dude, please don't hire me to make apps. Okay. Like, if it's complex, sure, but I am not going to build you a Canvas app. Not happening. What I want to do is do really complicated structured data. I want to build you a data microservice. I want to create you a cloud ecosystem. What I want to do is I want to set you up so that you can build all your own apps. We're in a thing called the era of enablement, folks. Okay. If partners think they're going to make money by making apps all day, you've got another thing coming in the next year.
Oh, okay. So you think that a lot of the partners are
Yep.
going to have to change
They
basically?
We will need to switch to an enablement model. Because the thing is, if the barrier to entry on building even medium-sized solutions becomes way easy, partners won't make money from that. They won't. You have to be extraordinarily good at managing the data or the very, very top responsive layer. And the responsive layer is becoming conversational. It's not just about making a pretty canvas app anymore. So yeah, I do definitely
Absolutely.
think that the shift will go, and I believe it will. It should do this. Okay, quick analogy before we wrap up. I used to make money from making Excel documents back in the day. Like that's what I made money from. Okay.
Okay.
Do people pay me to make Excel documents? Hell no. Why?
No.
Because it's easy. Why would you need me? It's going to go the same for Power Apps.
Absolutely. And I think a comment's just highlighted that actually. It said making normal complexity apps will
Yeah.
be automated. This is well known already, which yeah, is
Well,
is huge. And I think
I wish
that
it was well known already, but it's not because we actually have a lot of organizations still using Power Platform as their bread and butter for making a Canvas app.
really,
Yeah. Oh
okay.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So there's
Hugely,
still a lot of
hugely well known.
education. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I think this is also so important because, like yourself, Chris, you attend a lot of events. As you said, you were just at the
Mm,
European Power Platform one, and I think one thing I will say to my network is if you can get to any of these user groups, if you can get to any of these events, you will have speakers like Chris who. In and amongst all of this, have up to date knowledge and really are giving you some key takeaways. So, take your time out of your working day to attend these because I promise you, like they are they are amazing. And for me, I'm not even technical. I'm in recruitment, but my God, do I take away so much, which is going to improve my side of things, which is minor compared to the tech world. So
yeah.
that's one
Yeah.
thing I definitely will say. And then I know Diane, let's just
Ah,
see. Fully agree with this.
Diana's got a wonderful statement there. I actually know her. She's a legend. And the thing we need help with is building the ecosystem. We've got people who can build the apps in house, and that's exactly what you should be doing. You have people who can
Okay,
make Excel documents in house. You've got people who can make um, Word documents in house. Why not have people that can make apps in house? And a lot of organizations are going that route. I mean, I know a very famous rail organization who have something like 40,000 assets in place in Power Platform. It's extremely important to know that
love
actually, if
that.
your bread and butter is making an app as a partner, you need to move away from that and start thinking about how you enable customers and enable organizations to build their own things in a safe, secure, and governed place. That's ecosystem
Absolutely.
enablement completely to the core.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I know we could probably talk about this for absolutely hours.
Oh yeah,
And I mean, I've learned a lot, so thank you very much as well, because it's always nice to take away things as a speaker as well. So, what I will say, if anyone else has any other comments that are coming,
yeah.
I can't talk today. Internet's breaking. Can't talk. It's a good
That's
day.
cool.
So if people do have any comments, we can answer them afterwards. I know one's just come in, but Vikas, we will reply to that afterwards in the
Mm.
comments. But Chris, I don't. Are you speaking at any events, or are you going to any at the moment this year?
Yeah, so we are hosting a summer hackathon with Microsoft on the 10th of August. That's a Saturday. Yes, it's summer. Yes, people asked us to. So you're more than welcome to come to that. So we'll be doing that in combination with Microsoft and the Bletchley Park AI user group.
Yeah,
Then there's obviously European, there's going to be Vegas. So that's Power Platform Partner Conference or Power Platform Community, PPCC, Power Platform Community Conference. But yeah, I've
yeah,
got a whole array like that. There's that Scottish Summit. Please, if you have not registered for Scottish Summit, do it. There's a lot of
absolutely.
stuff happening, right? So it's kind of chilled out from an events perspective now, but yeah, there will be some really good stuff happening September onwards.
Absolutely. I'll be at Scottish Summit too, actually. So I'll see some of you guys there.
Yeah, fun.
um,
Great fun.
but yeah, honestly, Chris, it's been so lovely speaking with you. Yeah, I appreciate you taking time out of your day to speak on the podcast. And I think so. I don't think I've seen this much engagement on a podcast since we started, which is great. It's so,
That's
as
awesome.
you said, it's such an important topic at the moment. So I
Yeah.
think people are really going to learn and take away some things from this. But I don't know if you've got any final points to go. But if not,
The only point I would say is buckle up, folks, because this is happening.
I like it. To the point. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you very much, Chris. We will
Thank you for
be
having
back
me.
next
Yeah.
week. And yes, we will see you all next week when we're back on. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Lucy. It's been awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. See
Cool.
you later.
See you later.